Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here, and I've been tagged by PageScreenTaylor to do the Pokemon Go book tag, so here it is. So first question is about starters, the book for you that started your love for reading. For me this was an easy one. I went with the Mallory Towers books. They're quite old-fashioned, but they were probably the first series that I read, and also my first experience of going to a bookshop and looking at books, and I remember it so vividly. It was lovely. Second question is Pikachu, an iconic classic that you will always love. Now again, it's just so obvious. Harry Potter, nothing else to be said. Number 3 is Zubat, a book that you've lost interest in because it's literally everywhere. That sums up my feelings of Zubat completely. I found this one quite hard because I don't think generally I'm put off by books being everywhere. I went with the Dorothy Must Die book series because that was one that I had been interested in, but then I keep seeing it. And every time I see it, I just think, oh God, again? Next up was Ditto, a book that reminds you of other books, but you still love anyway. For me, this was The Maze Runner. When I read The Maze Runner, I love it. I absolutely love The Maze Runner. But particularly when I started reading it, I just couldn't. The dystopian future and things really reminded me of The Hunger Games, and I found that quite difficult to get over. But I did get over it and I loved it. Next up, Snorlax, a book that you have yet to read because of its sheer size. Now, as you may or may not know, recently I've been put off of reading a lot of books because of their sheer size. I went with The Robots of Dawn by Isaac Asimov. This is a book that has been on my TBR for ages. I have a copy of it. I've read the rest of the series, but I can't bring myself to read it because I've seen how long it is, and it is putting me off. All the others I read on my Kindle, so I wasn't put off by their size. Next up, Gengar, a book that kept you up all night. Now this was more challenging because I fall asleep very easily, particularly when I'm reading, so books don't keep me up all night. But I went with The Hunger Games because I distinctly remember, despite that I read it years and years ago, I distinctly remember that I found it really difficult to put down, couldn't stop reading, and I remember staying up late just to read it. Next up is Nidoking / Queen. I don't know what I'm talking about. Bookish OTP. Now, I really struggled with this one, and actually I'm going to leave it as a big fat question mark. I'm not a big fan of love and soulmates and stuff, so I think that I just don't get it, and therefore I couldn't choose. Next up is Rapidash, Fire Hot Fast-Paced Read. This didn't come to me off the top of my head, but when I looked at the list of books, The Girl on the Train was a clear winner. I read that so fast because the action just keeps you going. There's a lot of action. Next up, my favourite Pokemon, Eevee, and probably everyone's favourite Pokemon, maybe? A series you'll never get tired of seeing spin-offs for. Another tricky one for me, I don't read a lot of series, and certainly couldn't think of any that had spin-offs, and then Harry Potter came to me, and I thought, yeah, I would read any book that was related to that series. I would definitely read it, so that's what I went with. Then Magikarp, a book or series that was surprisingly awesome, and I went with You by Caroline Kepnes for this. I went into You not really knowing much about it, and it blew me away right from the start to the end, and I still think about it all the time and how incredible a book it was, so yeah, You, definitely. And Legendary, an overhyped series that you're still excited to read. Now this may just be me, or it may just be Twitter, but the Red Rising series, my Twitter seemed to go on and on and on and on about for quite a long time, so that did put me off, but I've still got the first book and I'm looking forward to reading it. Next question is Mew or Mewtwo, collector's edition you wish you owned. I don't own a lot of books, and I have no craving to own a lot of books, but if I had to choose I would probably say a Harry Potter collector's edition because you can't get enough Harry Potter. Next question I bailed out on, which was Poker Egg, a debut novel that you're looking forward to reading. There may be some on my TBR, but I don't know which are debut novels and which are not. My knowledge is not great enough. And the Lure module, an auto by author. There are quite a few auto by authors for me, but I'm going to go with Luke Smitherd. Now, and the reason for, he's an up-and-coming author who I love, and the reason I would put him as an auto by author is that I wouldn't even have to read what the book was about, because to be honest, every single book twists your mind up. You've got no idea where it's going to go anyway, so I would read any book by him. And last but not least, Servers Down, a book release you've been waiting on forever. I feel like this is going to get said time and time again, but Game of Thrones? I finished the books, I finished the series thus far, and I just want to carry on with it, and I'm starting to think it might never happen. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Just a quickie, so I'm not going to tag people, but if you want to do it, let me know, because I would love to see it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.